wonders through it. It has encapsulated literally everything that needs to be encapsulated and created a very deep mark on my mind. And if it succeeds in building this mark on your mind, I would probably believe that I have succeeded this morning with you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy it, please express it. A, with a smile, which is contagious, and B, with an applause after you see it. Does that make sense to you? And if you don't like it, you can stand up and make your faces at me. I will absorb all of it. So I want you to be happy, because if I can spread happiness and make you happy, the world becomes a happier place to live. Shall I play the music for you? Yeah, all of you? If you give me a smile, I would love it. All right, great. Can I have the piece on Guru played? Yeah, dim the lights. Ramesh, would you please place this with respect? Right, thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are presenting to you this little piece of music as they dim the lights. And I hope they succeed in doing that. Heavy section, not at the
beautiful, I don't know whether it's the prayer area or the kings or whatever it is, but it's the culture that I saw out there. Beautifully designed and looking great.
Yeah. You're actually wearing an expression which is so calm right now. And I can feel what you're feeling. So thank you very much for that expression. Somebody else who would like to comment what you like. Yes, ma'am. Please do.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Doctor, for giving us this piece of jewelry. Just like writing unites the world, music also unites the world. And this music and the wording was so beautiful, it touched my heart and melted. My heart melted just like chocolate melts. And I say thank you very much, and we hope to have many more of these in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you. You are so divine when you say this. Thank you so much. I will take one more comment from somebody who doesn't understand the language but has actually, oh, I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You look like a teacher.
I'm Dr. Malena Kruger from South Africa, and it is very interesting and good to listen to this. But I would like to share that there's so much more when we share Christianity and future life in heaven. That it is really, I want to share that message with all of you, to say that is not a dead God, it's not a Buddha, it's a living God with all of us into the future, into heaven. So let us rather go to that. Thank you very much.
Amazing, amazing. I can see some energy. I can feel the energy. See it and feel it. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Guy from Mauritius, and I would like to thank you for this beautiful way to start this program. And for me, it was like spreading positivity to start this event. And a special meaning for me because my ancestors came from India, so it's like reconnecting me to my ancestors, and that's it. And I would like to say that I've been brought up in the same culture, though being away from India, like it's the same culture for me. Thank you very much. Hope you all have a nice day.
The ethos of the culture makes all the difference. Couldn't agree more. Okay, the next piece of music which I'm presenting to you is a technical marvel. In many ways, it's not straight jumping from Bollywood or Hollywood. Although I would love to do it, but then copyright issues do not allow me to do that, and I'm sensitive to that. So what I'm presenting to you is a piece of music that has connected the world overnight and became a sensation to where it should be. I always If what if is the answer to making this change, then what is it that will bring about the change in the world? So here we go. We are living in uncertain times, and in uncertain times, how to grow in times of uncertainty is what is the answers I'm looking at today. How does the human race, the human generation, grow in times of uncertainty? Do we have direct answers to what we are looking for? The answer is an obvious yes, but do we want direct answers to what mankind is looking for? And probably no. So what will migrate, translate, mitigate, make the change will be our own selves. And unless and until we decide that in uncertain times that we need to create certainty of our behaviors, our attitude and our approach. A simple example. I am struggling today with a lot of families, a community of families in Mumbai and the place where I stay near the Arabian Sea to educate them to grow their own garden at home. They all have balconies, they all have verandas, they all have open ground, they also have places where they could actually cultivate vegetables and plants to create a balance in the ecology and eat healthy. But that's a struggle. So when people understand that with every uncertainty, if the answer is going to be lying within us, they need to do something about it. So I'm actually looking at building sustainable stars of tomorrow. My next year's program is aiming to actually bring about sustainable stars. Over 200 sustainable stars in this hotel, in this room, probably at the same time next year, where I talk about 200 leaders who have made a change in this world. But how to discover them? So I took a sample size of 150 countries. And I wrote to many leaders in those countries, big and small, large and medium. And I approached them into what can they do to bring about sustainability in their nations. They wrote back to me. They wrote back to me with brilliant ideas, which are being under evaluated by an independent jury today. And that jury is telling me signals that it gives me. The next 3 years, these are the people who will translate that change because they are the sustainable stars of tomorrow. Look up my publication, and I'm sure my colleagues will write to you as soon as it releases, both digitally and in a physical form, on these stars of tomorrow. They're all sustainable. They all have a mindset of sustainability. They all can translate sustainability into action and set up an example that will build the future. Climate. We've done nothing. As humans, we've done nothing. COP27 had a lot of promising ideas, but the question is, did we translate them? What will happen at COP29? I can take a guess and tell you right now what's going to happen. Because the answer, the writing is on the wall. We are talking, but we are not translating. If we talk and don't translate, we are going to be limited as a race. Let me repeat that again for you. If we talk and we don't translate, we are going to be limited as a race. And that generation to come will be without water. I'm doing a very unique experiment on mental health. I own a farm which is about 3 hours drive from Mumbai, in a place called Karjat in Maharashtra in Mumbai, in the western Ghats of India. And on that farm, we have created water reservoirs to actually create rainwater harvesting. We've got everything cultivated there, and we're looking after 108 animals who have no hands and legs and who have been disabandoned. They could be deer, it could be an elephant without tusk, which is what is worrying me, because if the elephant without tusk exists today, the future elephants will have no tusk. That's a question that many of the ecologists are asking. We are creating a situation for animals to survive. Reptiles like snakes that are venomous and non-venomous and have been beaten or eaten away by eagles and crows. We are nourishing them back to life. And in that experiment, we stood up to say, in this 20-acre farm, whatever is cultivated here will be consumed here, something that Keynesian economics did. What is produced is sold. And so the entire ecology is, you live there in harmony. You live in harmony with nature, you live in harmony with animals, you live in harmony with what you're doing, and you translate everything that you're doing into a fantastic being. How do we make this change happen? And what do we do to make this change happen? We balance climate with innovation. Ideas that will bring about innovations. Not just innovations in saving the planet, but innovations in our homes, the way in which our moms and our wives cook at home, the way in which we are translating our children's education. This is the point which is worrying me. The generation is so smart, but what are we doing to make this smart generation adaptable to the climate? What kind of awareness are we doing? And even in terms of water, we are teaching school children and we have educated teachers to tell children that they should not take a shower, they should actually fill their bucket with water and use a jug to pour it over there. That saves water. The same water which we are using for bathing can be recycled for plants, for gardening. We are educating people to doing that. Another 12 years and water will disappear from this earth. We need to conserve it. The sun is going to get hotter. The meteorites are going to break into pieces. The planetary positions are going to change. And if we don't act today, if we don't innovate in what we are doing today, we as a race will suffer big time. Therefore, what is it? What is the solution? This is my favorite. Every evolution creates a revolution. Let me repeat that again for you. Every evolution creates a revolution, and every revolution creates an evolution. There is an evolution that is happening. Look at this young man who's busy drawing and writing something. I met him, he was so smart. I asked him in front of his mother, what would you like to drink? And he said, perhaps a cup of tea or hot chocolate. So Govind went and brought him some hot chocolate to drink. He knows his priorities very well. He's smarter than me on use of cell phone. He's smarter than me on playing games on computers. He's smarter than me and his mother and his father into what he's thinking and doing. Perhaps he'll stand up one day at the United Nations and tell the world, you have done a disaster, you are done, you better save this world because you've affected me. And that day will be a matter of pride for us. It will be a matter of big pride for us. And that is the evocation that I'm trying to give to every child that I'm meeting. I make it a point to talk to every child I meet, whether it's on the flight, whether it's here, or it's in my own motherland. And asking children, what do you want to do? I have a colleague, whose children, Ramesh, who's taking pictures. His son is smarter than all of us put together. He knows when to play, he knows when to study, he knows when to go to sleep, he knows what to eat, and he's clear butter chicken is his favorite food. You might laugh. So then when you ask him a question, why is it your favorite food? Because this chicken is fed on nutrition is what he answered. And he eats nutrition food, so I tell my mother, you only buy chicken from this place, do not buy from anywhere. And we as a family do not buy online. I was mightily impressed with his answer. I asked him, what gift can I give you? He said, give me an exotic laptop. I took a $79. Because I knew he knew what he wanted. Now, what are these stories telling you? The generation is so smart that they know what they want. And you, all of you, forgive me for being so blunt with you, you are just not bothered about the smart generation. And if you don't take stock of the smart generation that is in front of you, the next generation will be so smarter that they will outsmart you in everything that you're doing. And yet what? So evolution is evolving. The biology of the world is evolving. People are finding it difficult to sustain their personal lives, balance with the ecology, with the climate, and their professional lives. And this is going to create mental health hazards. I have been telling every person I meet, do one thing, go and hug a tree today. What? Why do you want me to hug a tree? I said, try hugging a tree, if not a pet. You don't like pets, then go and hug a tree. Talk to a tree that is dying and revive it. When you talk to a tree that is dying and say, come back to life, I love you, the tree actually comes back to life. Try it. And it's doing wonders. In the oasis of the deserts, there are plants that are being created that are happening. And I have umpteen examples of the Emirates. I have umpteen examples of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where I go and tell them how they can be more sustainable. I told the king there that unless and until you give equality to men and women and create a diverse culture, your country will not prosper. Your country will not evolve. I came back to my country safe. And then I thank God I was safe. because I was glad in what I was saying. So save the oceans, feed the world. A large part of the world is becoming vegan. A large part of the world is becoming vegetarian. Animals are going to be extinct, including elephants. They're not going to exist. It's a matter of 18 years more. We have to do something. The antelopes are not going to exist. When the glaciers melt, the animals that are used to extreme cold and winter will become completely extinct. Therefore, what we need to do is to save our oceans. There's a whole movement of people who are actually youngsters who are cleaning up oceans. And because they're cleaning up oceans, the reverse osmosis is working so well for the ecology. So what do? We build a change in the last one. We build a change by looking after our mental health. Our mental health is very crucial today because the world has transformed and changed. And there are lots of things you can do for your mental health. Lots of things you can do. Gender has nothing to do with it. Diverse culture, which is impactful, is going to impact your mental health. And therefore evolve with that culture. Build a revolution. Create a revolution in your mind for the mental health to exist. And the only way to be mentally fit is to embrace nature. If we are in a position to embrace nature, we can make that change. Ladies and gentlemen, and the last one. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, now this was my opening for World Sustainability. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to ask Alok, the Executive Director of CMO Global, to take over from here and conduct the next of the proceedings. We have a series of sessions for you. As usual, many of you are meeting. I'm so delighted I could meet you. I'm a big fan of many of you sitting here who are my honored guests. This day is day committed to sustainability and transformation. If we can make everything sustainable, life is beautiful. Thank you so much. Over to you all.
Very well. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful day it is in Mauritius. My name is Helen Niemand. I am from South Africa and I specialize in the hospitality industry, the apartment hotel industry, to be precise. This has been my second visit to Mauritius, and I must just say that it has been such a wonderful experience. And I think that Mauritius is not just only pristine beaches and beautiful, beautiful blue sea, but also the heartbeat of the people of Mauritius. We've been so warmly welcomed by all the Mauritian people. Everybody is so loving and kind and helpful, and it's been such a wonderful experience. So I'm really, truly blessed and really grateful to be here today. It's really a privilege. Thank you so much also for this wonderful event, to also reward women and men in business for all their hard work and effort, and also to make a difference in our societies. So today I'm going to speak about women in business and how we can add value to companies and corporations to be more sustainable. And despite compelling evidence that more diversity in senior management ranks increases organizational performances, the proportion of women in key leadership roles remain low in most organizations and political parties. Women face a unique set of challenges when progressing into senior leadership positions, including unconscious bias, the scarcity of role models, and a peer group that continually shrinks the more senior they become. These can make striving for the top a lonely and frustrating journey, even in organizations with the best intentions to support their top female talent. Women executives really have an opportunity to come together and share their leadership experience in a learning environment that has direct relevance and personal impact. We need more mentorship from women executives to guide and lead young women entering into organizations and into the workplace. And this is to create a strong and vast sustainable impact on women in business. As we know, in recent decades, these have been calls for greater gender equality while enhancing the need to close the gender wage gap, although tremendous strides have been made in this aspect, there is still a fundamental lack of women in leadership roles. If you take a look at the Fortune 500 list in America, you'll see that 15% of the CEOs are women. The companies that boast a higher representation of women on their boards outperform organizations that don't, by a notable degree. It is also noted that companies with greater gender diversity, not just within their workforce, but directly among senior leaders, are significantly more profitable than those without. This clearly demonstrates that the need for more female leaders has never been more critical. Women leaders can contribute to companies' sustainable choices in so many ways. Workplace gender diversity helps increase productivity and creativity, improves performance, and very important, staff retention. And as established, boasts collaboration through the business. Within a more diverse workplace, it's likely that more creative ideas will be presented. This helps fuel growth and create more sustainability within organizations. Diversity in the workplace should not just prioritize women, but instead have a fluid combination of both genders throughout the organization. Women leaders bring skills, different perspectives, and innovative ideas to the table. But these three combined help create innovative perspectives that lead to better decision making as a whole. For your business, keeping in mind global sustainability in any society or institution, success is almost invariably linked to and defined by progress and expansion. This inherent desire to grow on a large scale and with consistency originates many years ago and goes as far back as biblical times, in which conquering the land and dominating control were of utmost priority. In recent years, we have begun to recognize that any form of achievement, long-term feats included, do not involve return. Therefore, effective preparation for potentially disastrous events can offer possible solutions to problems as they arise, or at least reduce the impact from unpredictable occurrences, as we have also experienced during COVID times. One especially important aspect of planning for sustainability concerns the environment and the unlikelihood that the Earth's resources will continue to meet human demand. That is why we must look at sustainable development, which is a central global concept. The term sustainable development is defined as the development that meet the needs of life, present generation without excessive use or abuse of natural resources, so that they can be preserved for the next generation. There are three aims of sustainable development. First, economic, which will help to attain balanced growth. Second, very important, the environment, to preserve the ecosystem. And third, society, which will guarantee equal access to resources to all human beings. The key principle of sustainable development is the integration of environmental, social, and economic concerns into all aspects of decision making. That is where women leaders in business can contribute largely. Women should become policymakers and take up positions that allows them to implement sustainable development strategies. It is also very important for the concept of sustainable development to be included in the education system, so that students can become aware of it and start practicing a sustainable lifestyle. This adapting to a sustainable lifestyle will help to save the earth and for future generations. And this is exactly what Dr. Bhatia said this morning. And I think it is very important that we, as leaders in our positions, need to make sure that all the knowledge that we have gained during our lifetime, to pass that on to the youth, but also to equip the youth to understand the consequences of the way that we are currently living. not taking responsibility for our actions. And I think it is also very important for us to make not just, we have to make lifestyle changes in order for us to save the world. Because if we don't look after the world won't be able to look after us. So I just want to say thank you very much to each and every one of you today. I'm looking forward to hearing all the other speakers as well with all their insight. I also want to say a word to all the women out there, women that have dreams that have not been given the opportunity to stand up and to take up space, not to hold back. There is so much greatness within each and every one of us. If only we can believe that and give each other the space to be the best authentic versions of ourselves, because that is what the world needs. But I think what is also very important is that a lot of greed has taken over in corporate organizations, where everything has just become about profits and less about the impact of what that will have on our planet. But also not just the impact on the planet, but also the impact on us as human beings, and what that does to our mental health, which we have seen have grown quite actually a problem all over the world with mental health problems. So it's really very important for us to stand united and to believe in ourselves, to step up, rise up, take up space, and raise our voices, and also speak for those who can't speak for themselves. Thank you very much. You must enjoy the rest of your day.
I head the energy sustainability group for Adani. I am responsible for the three energy companies, Adani Power, Adani Transmission, and Adani Green Energy. This is a sector which is perhaps blamed most for the problem that we are in of the climate change. And historically it is true. And what we are doing or what we are seeing across the world is a huge transition that the energy sector is going through. And being the largest private sector power development company in the country, the electric utility sector is facing a huge transition risk, and perhaps we are part of that transition. And at Adani, we see this transition more as an opportunity, and that is where I believe a sustainable future for energy will be. So we are part of the transition story of the energy sector of the country, where it was predominantly fossil fuel based, but we have a huge ambition of doing something like 500 gigawatt by the year 2030. And we want to contribute to that story by putting at least 45 gigawatt by us. And what we are also doing is we are looking at green hydrogen as a source of energy and a source for chemical chain, which will serve the purpose for most hard to abate sectors like transport and logistics. So that's what we do, and if there are queries, I'll take them and try to answer them and share our experience of what we look at sustainability on.
Thank you, Mr. Santosh. Great, amazing work you've been doing to be able also to get organization of that size and impact. Yes, Mr. Devan. Mr. Devan Pillay is from South Africa, joining us from Durban. Maybe a short introduction, and we can move also afterwards to the second one. But let's get Mr. Devan to give a brief introduction, please.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, Chair. I just want to say it's a great pleasure to address you today. As the president of the ESCO Association of Southern Africa, it's an organization that works very closely with government, GIZ, which is a German agency, and SANEDI, it's an organ of state. The key role of the ESCO Association of Southern Africa, called IASA, is to stimulate the green economy in Southern Africa. That's the key aim of it. It plays a pivotal role now that it's so topical. I'm also the group CEO of LTN Energy, which is pivotal in one of the agents being used to actually execute some of the projects. Okay, you set up strategies and then you look at the implementation plan.
great thing. I mean, it's just saving energy and water, beside money in the pocket, reducing the operational costs. It's just simply a beautiful thing to do. We know what it does to the planet. We know what it does to future generations. Now, more than ever, it is a must. There's no choice. And I think joining us as a team in making this a reality is the key issue. No one person can do it. It's a team effort. And I welcome you to join what we call the Energy Efficiency Ambassador Program, where each of us, in this little token of being an energy efficiency ambassador, each our sign. And I've done about over 100,000 people where we addressed to say, look, how do we become energy efficiency ambassadors to move to the next level to become one team? I think that's important. I'm looking forward to the questions that you have.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Devon. So can we just have the next one, please? Thank you. So we've got 21 people participated. Thank you so much. So now we're getting to the core of what we're talking about is what does a sustainable future looks like? So I think I invite you to write a word or two to what is a sustainable future. Maybe if you want to close your eyes, imagine maybe you can do all of that. Can you just close your eyes, please? Everyone just close your eyes, just play with game, just go with it, go with the flow, close your eyes and imagine in the future what you see as a sustainable future. What is that? What is that? Maybe you can imagine, what is a sustainable future, in the future, it's yourself, and what is a sustainable future? What is a sustainable future? What is it? I know you've got energy field, through a lens of energy. Energy is like fossil fuel, consumes a lot of energy, more and more. We've got, I think, how many billions we reached a few weeks ago. And we're using fossil fuel means to create greenhouse gas emissions, which means that there's absolute climate change, and there was COP recently, and all we need to do is to keep the temperature of Earth at 1.5% degrees centigrade before things just blows up. So one thing about climate and climate change, about also increasing temperature, it's not something which is just incremental, like we go 1.1 degree more and there's little things happen. So there's one thing that's important, is what we call a tipping point. So the tipping point means we don't know. Maybe we're going to do 1.4 degrees centigrade extra, and then the whole ecosystem collapses every day. So it's not something that incrementally we say, okay, we just reach that as maybe a little bit of problem, and that's fine. But the core tipping point means that there's going to be a point that can happen anytime when we don't cap our emissions, but there's going to be like major extinctions, people like climate refugees, etc., etc. I mean, we small island urban states, Mauritius, we see all the different problems now. We don't have much water, etc., and there's coastal erosion, there's all these floods, etc. So yeah, what is a sustainable future, Mr. Santos, for you?
Yeah, I'll speak from the perspective of energy sector. What I believe will be sustainable or sustainable future for all is energy security for all. That is one and all across the globe. At the same time, we have to understand that where that energy will come from. Because energy is not created. It's Einstein MC square, it changes form from one form of energy to another form. So the sustainable future for energy will be, in addition to having energy security, also the form from where it gets converted to the form where it is used. And when I say that, it means that it need not have or it should not have any emissions, any non-renewable resource consumption, and at the same time, perhaps least or negligible impact on other things like ecosystem, the water, the air, the human beings, all the life forms that exist on the earth. So that's a sustainable future for us, and we have to work very, very hard for it. The science part is clear what we talk about 1.5 degree or 2 degree. Here, a few weeks back, people used to argue on the science part also, but at least in the last 1.5 or 2 years, all around the globe, they have understood, everybody has understood. The science is very clear what it is trying to tell us. It's the politics perhaps which is not clear yet, or the political commitment which is still not there across the globe at the same level what a sustainable future would demand. So that's the change I expect to happen for a sustainable future for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your insights. Yeah, so it's to be able to our natural resources, to be able to co-live with everything and to protect those resources, and rightly said about the energy and energy production and consumption. Let's have a look quickly of what we have here. So clean oceans, food for all people, I think that's the biggest: food for all people, peace, health, environment rich, fresh air, food-rich nations, smoke-free environment, minimum wastage, happy. I thought happy would be bigger, because I think for me sustainable future is about when we're all happy. Healthy, that's very important. Safety, food access, free transport, clean climate, food supply, reversing pollution, health, planet, abundance, beautiful, peace, equal education, fair and best practice, continuity. Yeah, keep it coming if you want to. And now give the floor to Mr. Devan to see what his vision of a sustainable future.
Yeah, so I was a senior manager at ESCOM, and one of the biggest utilities, and it was really a great utility to be with. And over a decade I left, and my vision was to build an ESCOM, but a clean, green ESCOM outside. And that's what pretty much LTM Energy does, and the purpose of the ESCO Association is to just look at green initiatives. There was, in 2000, when I visited E.ON, which is one of the biggest utilities in Germany, one of the key learning points I picked up was they were going through restructuring, digitization, decentralization, and decarbonization. The 3 Ds was practiced at that level. And that's what happened to a big monster, one of the biggest utilities in Europe, to restructure. I came back with that message back to ESCOM and I said, wow, this is what we need to do. So we created a renewable energy division, but restructuring things just fell apart. And hence I took the challenge outside. What's so important, the 3 Ds, and I heard the first speaker, and just, I think he summed it up well. It's no longer an evolution, but it's also a revolution that's taking place. The sustainability future, you can have innovative technologies such as what we've worked on. I think we've got the first mover advantage in Africa, where you're taking conduit hydro, a turbine within a pipe, turning mechanical energy into electrical energy. It's simple, these big pipes, it's continuous, 24 hours, and it's concealed. At less than 50 cents, sorry, South African cents per kilowatt hour. So that's about less than
1 rupee.
1 rupee. All right, so you work the numbers, right? It's about 2.5, right, to the rand. So just imagine what we can do with such innovative technologies that we are using at the moment. There's smart districts, smart cities, smart homes, right? Where you're going to find that you're going to have everything automated. Right now, in 13 different countries, there's a product called eSAM's being rolled out. The beautiful thing about it, you can measure and monitor and visualize any utility that you want and see if there's wastage. Whether it's electricity, gas, water, thermal energy. Now that's the beauty, that's the first level of seeing things. And then linking up to IoT devices. The only problem I see, the only challenge is people's privacy. But how can you use these clever technologies, bearing the certain constraints that we need to conform to, that can improve people's lives? And I think what you said here, if you can, I mean, we're talking about not just only the urban areas, the remotest places in the world. In Africa, if you look at the Coca-Cola story, you just type it, you Google the Coca-Cola, we're part of Coca-Cola to roll it out into Africa, where we're providing clean access to indigenous people, clean water, clean energy, and using solar pumps. And with clean energy and clean water, you can have food. Very simple. You form the nexus of life. That's sustainability for you. Not just being IoT-driven initiatives and everything automated, but how do you get to improve the quality of life through sustainable, innovative solutions? And that is the key point. And to see the smile on people that did not have access to energy and water, it just brings the ultimate joy. They can do farming, whether it's agricultural or animal farming. That's the joy that you want to see to improve the quality of life. So if we can combine our efforts to not just look at digitization and the modernized world and the evolution of IoT, but just to get to people that matter most. For me, those are sustainable solutions close to heart. And I love that to be the sustainable future. What really matters is close to my heart.
Thank you, thank you. Very passionate about the work you do, and IoT means Internet of Things. It's these like little devices that actually communicates and we can do lots of things and signals about water leakage, about all sorts of different signals. And technology is very important in combating climate change to get us where we are. We live in a technological world. There's more and more applications, technologies that actually helping us improve our quality of life. Improve its convenience, etc. And it's great to have people like yourself and your companies like yourself also working towards that. But technology is also like a means to where we want to get to. I haven't seen a sustainable future that wants to take away our technology. So it's like really mean for us to get to all these different things that we're talking about. And I think the sustainable goes to talk about leaving no one behind. This is the whole idea. And this is some of the work we're doing in Africa and bringing water, bringing infrastructure, bringing energy to people who didn't have any. So I think it's going to be like now going to look at these barriers and what are the barriers to this sustainable future. So we understand also for us from our panelists what are the barriers. Maybe you can change the other one. And you imagine your sustainable future. What do you think are the barriers? These are really a barrier challenge for your sustainable future. Why don't we get there? What is actually not allowing them to get there? While our panelists are going to answer this, you can also think about it and then just put in your little comments there. Yes.
Yes, it's Dr. Mariana Kruger from Johannesburg in South Africa. I actually just want to note with the technologies, and I think it's very important, as with everything in life, is to get the balance. Because if we are embracing and keep on embracing technologies just for the sake of technology, making more automation, making us as humans actually more lazy in some senses, and not getting the balance, then we will not improve ourselves, but actually dehumanizing ourselves, because then we become less than a robot. So it is important to, yes, the agricultural part, and to improve the lives of people who don't have access to those environments for sure, and education in a limited way. We must keep on asking the critical questions: where does it really add value and quality to our lives, or is it actually making us so lazy and comfortable to press another button and then increasing electropollution up to a point where it does have a negative impact on our health? So for sure we know an increase in electropollution is actually making us sick. And because we are so wonderfully created with all the electromagnetic impact that we do have in our systems, all our systems are actually working with minute electricity, if I can put it that way, then for sure we must take cognizance of that and not just run without thinking. We must be critical about the Internet of Things and how we use technology. And remember, that also has a negative impact on climate change because of the water that need to be used to cool the systems and. So for sure, we can't just run and think it will not have a negative impact on humanity and the health and mental health and social health and physical health, everything of us as humans. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So, yes, I come to you. I just want to say one thing. It's always like we're calling dichotomy about technology, about, the gain and the negative effects. I'm part of a working group for something called United for Smart and Sustainable Cities. We're just looking at environmental efficiency of emerging technologies and AI and see training like a mathematical model for machine learning, for AI, and which is quite complex. It would have taken 35 years previously, now it takes a couple of months, and uses as much energy as a car for 5 years, just to train one AI model. So, but this is since how do you say that, like the birth of time, when we have like on one side natural capital, the other side social capital. We make food, so when we make food, we destroy all biodiversity. So there's always like sometimes you can't just be all perfect. So you need to you have this trade-off. What do? Do you cause a little bit more sort of I call it pollution, etc. To have people to be able to have a better life or have food, etc. So of course everything is a balance. Thank you for sharing. Yes, madam. I don't want to take too much time because I think we have like a limit and we need to yeah. If you can, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Shashi Susan, Head of Cancer Unit in New Cancer Center and as well as in Republic of Mauritius. So I'm very happy to be here, and I'm a doctor myself and the head of the cancer unit, so I would like to focus more on the health sector and for sustainable world sustainability. The first thing barrier I feel is the knowledge, is education. So the knowledge is power. This knowledge should just come for everyone, right from all the walks of life, right from the laborers to the politicians. At all levels, once the knowledge comes, knowledge is the power, and that itself helps in transforming, and that's a major barrier we have. Once we educate our children, they're the very future of our country. And right from the child, and the mothers have a strong role in educating the parents have a strong role in educating the children. And that's one of the major barriers. And it is in our hands, education in our hands. So that's one thing we can do. Another more important is the human values. It should be there, it should be inculcated from childhood and at all the levels. Once you become a good human being, then you start looking at other people who are less fortunate. Maybe animals, maybe plants, and maybe another individual. And these are the two things. Once you develop the human values, then you start looking at the problems of the other people. So, and this is the two things that the way we can improve and make this world a sustainable and a lovely planet to live with.
Step ahead of us because the next
transition which is happening and which is likely to happen, which the entire world is looking at, is having a very different kind of challenge and demand for very different kind of metals and material that we used to have in the energy sector. Traditional ones, steel, copper, and all those things are now changing to maybe chromium, cobalt, nickel, which are used for building of those cells and all. Now that is creating a huge challenge because uh, maybe 8 or 10 years down the line, we will need something like 50 million tons of those heavy metals and all those things. And the implications are that all those new metals or the rare earths, they put a lot of pressure on the extractive sector, where the human right records are not being, the sector which has been for a very long time have been responsible for human right abuses. So that's a huge challenge that we are looking at when the world goes through the process of energy transition. The second challenge is most of these renewable energy, they are very geographically located and not always at the load centers or where the actual consumption happens or the demand is. So it's a huge challenge on the transmission and distribution of those energy, as well as the storage of that energy. So those are the challenges which the entire world is trying to cope up with in terms of solution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So yeah, I mean, obviously, as we produce more, as we become more technology with whatever metals we extracting or getting depleted. But good thing now there's a circular economy movement where we can get stuff from the waste, etc. So I mean that's a good thing. And then also infrastructure is a big problem to have infrastructure. I think for me that's important also to mutualize infrastructure. When we're doing telecom, we can use water pipes, we can do electrics. So for me, it's more about collaboration. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Yes, Mr. Bella.
Yeah, I think firstly policy. I think you mentioned policy, my counterpart from South Africa, policy, and then she mentioned mentorship. Now, if you unpack that, maybe by way of example, education and awareness in tongues, or the lack of, is such a huge barrier that not many people know what's out there. And I'll just give you a sample which I will share right now. Maybe just take a note of this. We discussed it with a member of the. Do you know what this is? Look at this. Have you seen this before? Plastic. Okay. Just by way of example, this is a pressure compensating regulator. It's 10 rand, so it's 25 rupees, right? And it saves energy and water. You put it into your faucet, whether it's a shower head, I'm talking 25 rupees, right? And it saves up to 50% energy because you're getting hot water and water because it's a local, right? Because aerators, we're not talking about aerators. But such a simple technology that government should be rolling out wherever there's power constraints because it's so cheap. Now we've got the banks to do it. But there's not enough education and awareness out there to make a difference. And it's such a smart technology, it does not harm the environment. It is such a beautiful thing to do, and I think it's more attuned, and I think there is such a huge drawback in the education, and how do we unblock it? We throw simple things as ISO 50001 or energy management system, but we forget that we are human beings, right? We want to reduce the complexity of what we communicate out there and get it down to what human beings are accustomed to. They don't want to hear solar PV, thermal storage, they want to, they want the benefits and so the power and simplicity is so key. And I think there's a lot of complex communication out there, which is such a huge drawback. Apart from the policies, lack of mentorship, because you need to get that, that's one. So for me to make that, helping the change, making that difference, touch on the few things that really matter. And I think we can come a long way to make that positive change.
Thank you, Mr. Rajesh. So yeah, so about knowledge dissemination, knowing what we are little apparatus like we spoke goes to nothing but saves energy and water, and that's very important. We like to do education necessary.
Thank you. My name is Prajesh, and I head quality and skill development for asset experiences globally. Regarding the subject, I have two thoughts to add. One is awareness, and second one is enforcement. When I say awareness, it's important to understand that people should understand that all the natural resources are shared resources. I should not feel that I am consuming less water or energy which is important for my own taste. Rather, if there is any misuse, it's going to impact others as well. So that's one important aspect which we should understand. And that has to be inculcated. We as parents or maybe senior people in society, it's our responsibility to inculcate these habits in our children. Very small things. Whenever you are not using any power source, just switch it off. Very small things that has to be inculcated. Second one is enforcement through law. If awareness is there and when people are not working it, in that case enforcement that is going to help. Because as Santosh rightly said, that energy cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed, it can be simply changed from one form to other form. So if people understand, that's going to help us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam?
I'm Mrs. Pramila Kedan, retired educator, writer, social worker, poet, so many things. Let us talk about the main thing. In olden days, people had fewer things, and they were closer to each other, and they were happier. Now we have got so many things, and yet things are not making us happy. We are believing more in things and less in people. The day we start believing more in people and less in things, we will be happy. We have to understand that planet Earth is a living entity, and many societies consider planet Earth as Mother Earth. But see the harm we are doing to Mother Earth. I remember reading somewhere, Albert Einstein had said, the day we see bees disappearing from planet Earth, it is announcing danger for humanity. And really, in reality, the bees are becoming less and less. And we have to focus on the dangers which are ahead of us. See the type of planet Earth our forefathers left for us, and consider what type of planet Earth are we going to leave for our children and our grandchildren. This is the time to act. This is the time to organize more seminars and workshops like this one. This is the time to stir the minds of people. This is the time to stir the souls of people. You have to remember, we all come from the same source. We all pray to the same God. We all live on the same planet. I am not going to prioritize any problem. My main thing is that we all people must sensitize the public in general by all fair means possible so that we can make a better world. We keep saying for a better world, for a better world. But each one of us has the responsibility of making a better world. Then only the world will become a better place for all of us to live together as brothers and sisters. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you from an elder. Yeah, one thing, we can put same source, but I think what's interesting also from what I saw earlier, the world we want is also very similar. So, the sustainable future we're imagining, we can always make with, so it means the world we want is actually the same world we want in the future. So, how we do that, I think is the next one. How many minutes do I have, Tina? 5 minutes, okay. So yeah, so what is how to become a good solution, how to create a sustainable future? I think we look at some of the barriers, and for the barriers, just how to say, upside down or said, so we can look at, for each barrier find a solution. So if you can, sort of crowdsource your solutions or an opportunity, while I get Mr. Santosh to share his views.
Yeah, what I believe is, in fact, it has been taught by a couple of people, the knowledge, awareness, but I'll go a step further. The solution has to be a common political will across the globe, where there is a shared and common understanding, targets, objectives for development goals, for the clarity on fossil fuel subsidies. So there's only politics and debate going on. There is no concrete action and no concrete action plan. For me, will start with a common political will across the globe, and then everything else can follow.
Thank you. Mr.
I think we need more of you, ma'am, in government. I think what brilliant way you said it. More leadership like you would change the world, definitely. I think for me, a compelling value proposition. Yes, saving the planet is there and it's a serious issue. And it's something that it's a must, there's no option. Right? But we can also have a compelling value proposition where green energy is cheaper than conventional power. It's a fact, it's not a myth. It is a fact. But what is it that's causing this change? Why is nobody, oh well, the uptake is not as great as we expect. It comes back to education awareness. But right now we're putting a value proposition because one of the biggest things to unlock it is funding. Right? We spoke about that. There's so much green funds available. Right now you can put a compelling value proposition where green energy is cheaper than ESCOM power, conventional power. And then it's just, okay, at zero capex, zero opex, zero insurance, zero operating and maintenance, with 100% clean energy, done. Magical, you get your opex cost reduced from day one, your NPV positive from day one. Sorry, I'm getting into the trap now, but just not getting too technical. But it's so easy, it's an easy sell. But how do we get this into a scalable way? I think that's the challenge. And I think the more funding, the more education out there, the more engagement, because it's really a must situation. There's no option. And if we are serious about it, we can make a difference.
Thanks, Darren. So what I'm hearing is that, and I hear about a lot. So we have solutions. It's so clear to us what we need to do. It's so clear to us what must be done, who must be doing what. But yet we are not actually, breaking these barriers, doing it. So for me, this is something that always I think, but if we know the solutions, why are we not implementing them? Even what comes to all these underlying things, why? We know it's cheaper. So why are we doing it? So obviously that's because we live in a complex world, obviously, and what I see there's education, awareness, obviously there's what we call lobbying, there's interest, thanks to our capitalist world, there's interest. I mean, myself, I work for European political vehicles at the seat, the pushback, from people who, into fossil fuels, etc. So, and one thing is very important, what I see, the three things that I see on the screen is education, awareness, there's lots of different things, sensitization, co-green, and it's collaboration. So collaboration is probably like the second largest one. And for me, I want to think about this because I hear about a lot also. It's like collaboration. Oh, we need to collaborate. Oh, collaboration. I mean, private sector, even with the SDG 17, it's called partnerships for growers. But then I ask people, what is collaboration? What's collaboration? How do you do collaboration? What does it mean, collaboration? I think this is a big problem because I don't think people understand what is collaboration, what is efficient collaboration, what is effective collaboration. And I think the prise de conscience, like Madame said, I think we do get that. Obviously we can get in business as usual, go with stuff, forget about it, go eat out, nice food, and whatever, travel, everything. We have that, but it needs to come to our awareness and conscience. And I think for me, is how do we get these solutions that's so clear to us into the world and scale it and implement it, and how do we actually collaborate. And I want to leave you with that, and I want to thank my fellow panelists, big round of applause for them, and for yourself, I will send this to Dr. Bassa, and we can see what we harvested here.